like me who spill all the time and you've noticed that your carpet's not looking so good, why don't you call Neatly Done Carpet Cleaner? They use a dry extraction service. So you won't have wet carpet all day long and you get back to doing the things you love with your family immediately. And it's a way to make your room healthier while improving your indoor air quality. You can do tile, slate, granite, ceramic, area rugs, and yes, they're pet friendly too. Why don't you get a free, no obligation estimate today? NeatlyDoneSanAntonio.com.
We don't break the laws. We just make up our own. The internet's best choice for music. She's the boss. Radio Network.
Hey guys, we're back. I'm throwing this over to Maron.
That's it?
Yep.
You didn't read Jack.
No, you can introduce it.
Today we want to talk about the success of the January 6th congressional hearings and the committee that was put together a while ago in January. Trying to investigate everybody that was involved in the GOP or even the Democratic side, anybody that was involved in the insurrection that occurred January 6th. So, gotta give it to Cheney. She's been fighting for this. And the sad thing about this is that the GOP listened to Trump and decided not to be involved in the committee, in the investigation, and all of that. And now they're crying foul. They want to know why weren't you in there? They're not official committee. They're not able to prosecute anybody, collect evidence or anything because the GOP wasn't involved. That was their choice. Jim Jordan was asked if he wanted to be involved. He listened to Trump and decided not to. Oh well. So now after months of investigation, they've had these hearings starting last week. And you have several different people testifying. And everybody seems to be throwing Trump under the bus, including his daughter, his son-in-law, and everything. And it came out by one of the aides that Ivanka Trump was terrified for Pence. She felt as though her father was going to do him harm. And she was afraid for his life the whole time they were hiding. And she did nothing.
So, who cares how she feels?
I mean, the loyalty is just, I respect loyalty, but not to this extent. Where somebody's life is going to be in danger and you're just sitting back and allowing it. You're committing crimes and if it's not even affecting just your family, it's affecting the United States and other nations that are involved as well, because everybody else had a say in the U.S. election. Should never happen. So they're going to start the congressional live hearings today. And as of last week, we had a couple of people arrested. Navarro is having a whole, I don't want to call it a fit, but he's having diarrhea of the mouth in the wrong way. Instead of admitting guilt or giving us some kind of
diarrhea of the mouth, it's wrong no matter what way.
Yeah. No, I mean, when you say diarrhea of the mouth, they telling the truth. Like, they're just blurting out.
Diarrhea means they're just
spewing out.
Yeah, spewing out anything.
I was going to say something, but Lakita would kill me. So everybody's sitting here trying to figure out what's going to happen next. I personally would hope that after all this investigations and all the spectacle and everything that's going on, that there is some kind of legal action. There's some kind of prosecution that happens. But unfortunately, this is the United States and this is our government. And everybody that's been caught up in the insurrection have been going through court hearings, federal court hearings. And what gets me is that with all of these, I haven't heard one person get more than maybe 2 years. Everybody else has gotten months, suspended sentence, and things like that, which saddens me. Because as a DC native, you know god daggone well, you step on that grass, you've already violated a federal ordinance. So these people not only stepped on the grass, they stepped into the Capitol without permission. They assaulted a police officer. They killed a police officer. And I don't see anything that, like, nobody's talking about it. Right. The GOP is actually insulting the police department, DC Police. And that, to me, that's retarded, because if it wasn't for them, now mind you, on January 6th, the Democrats weren't the only ones hiding. Republicans were hiding, screaming for their life. The ones that were in on it, of course, they were safe in the office. But you were terrified. And then as soon as it happened, you were like, oh, it didn't happen. Look away, look away. This is a false flag operation. It didn't happen. Because a lot of people do say that it didn't actually happen. But whatever. And the stupidity of the insurrectionists is that they were posting it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. They went live, and now that they're being prosecuted. Nope, that wasn't me. That was your account. You said your name. That's your face and everything. And what I don't get is, in the Capitol, there's face recognition software. So why in the world couldn't we identify them that way? That would have been the fastest way. But that's neither here nor there, and I'm going to shut my mouth on that one. So as they're going along, they're going to continue. It's going to take as long as Amber Heard and Johnny Depp's trial, if not longer. It might take 6 weeks. It might take 12 weeks. But they're going. And January 6th committee will be to extent the governing body of this event. And I really don't see it going anywhere, to tell you the truth. I think it's a waste. We know who did it. Execute. Not execute as far as killing them, but prosecute, should I say. Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I follow here and there, and I did see, I mean, certain things caught my eye, and Barr was one of them. Mm-hmm. Only because he kind of went against the grain. He was going against Trump, saying certain things, and I just thought that was interesting because he was so stuck on Trump for so long while he was working with him. And and even ABC News is saying that he offered some of the most riveting new testimony, which again, whatever. But so it talks about I guess some private meeting between them on December 14th, 2020, where Trump purported to have new evidence that Dominion voting machines were rigged.
Yeah. Did you talking about looting the judge?
What judge?
Oh, okay, never mind.
No, I'm talking about Trump and Barr.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those two met. And so, they just go into, so anyway, so the voting machines were rigged. Barr testified he would get a second term after all, he told Barr. The president then handed Barr a report from a cybersecurity firm, and as Barr flipped through the pages, he saw nothing that gave credence to such a startling claim. But that just goes to show who Trump is. Like,
I see Trump, it, but I don't see it. I don't accept it.
Well, what I was gonna say is Trump talks so much stuff, and then will say he has evidence, but never does.
Yeah,
never does. And Barr said he told investigators of the committee that he was somewhat demoralized. He said, because I thought, boy, if he really believes this stuff he has, lost contact with, he's become detached from reality if he really believes this stuff. So again,
we knew that when he became.
Yeah, I mean, even before, that's why I didn't vote for him. But it also goes to show just how the people around him, like you were talking about his daughter and stuff, the people around him they just kept going with the flow, and like nobody. And I'm sure some people here and there try to stop him. I mean, wasn't there a general who like defied one of his orders? Like, you want to do what? No, we ain't doing that.
Yeah.
And I forgot what that was centered around, but it's it's.
But then
just
you have
sad
people like Michael Flynn who fell on their sword for him.
Well, yeah, there's that too. They just keep following him, and then you go down for him, and for what?
Mm-hmm. Well, Stephen Bannon is still fighting that good fight. He has defied the subpoenas to come, and you can't do that. That's like your mom tell you, bring it over here. You say no or ignore her, she's gonna snatch you up.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what happened with the Trump kids. They weren't showing up to court. They kept getting subpoenaed, but I think Eric went on his own at some
which
point.
one?
That's the youngest one.
Yeah,
he went on
sat.
his own at some point.
He was
But
deposed.
yeah, Ivanka and the older one, Don Jr. were just like.
But then
No,
she turned
no.
around and found out that Ivanka actually did sit for a deposition.
Who's
And
she? So
Ivanka sat for a deposition with the.
Oh, you said she found out, so I wasn't sure what you talking about. Yeah.
No, we found out that.
Oh.
Yeah, she actually did, and so did her husband through his father-in-law under the bus. And that's the thing.
Eventually, after not doing it
which
forever.
is stupid for me. Come on now.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. And with this whole committee, yeah, I mean, a lot of people, even this one thing for Move on Instagram. So they were talking about, as a result of the January 6th committee hearings, it's now undeniable that Donald Trump knowingly worked to sabotage our democracy and overturn the will of the people. And My Pretty Little Plants was like, so now what? Slap on the wrist. And I mean, that's the sentiment of a lot of people, because Trump
gets away with it. Narcissists always do.
Well, I don't know about that.
Always.
But I'm gonna say people with money always do, because they always figure out a way to get out of stuff.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy that that's how it happens. But you even look at some rappers who get off on their gun charges.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how does that happen? Because you're not supposed to have those, and I'm pretty sure
If
you have no permits for these. Right, and you already got in trouble for a bunch of stuff before, so it's nuts. But
also, the one thing is, the January 6th committee has also subpoenaed any video footage of Big Fatty, Orange Guy, and his family before January 6th, leading up to the insurrection, and during the insurrection. They need all that footage. So it's all been subpoenaed. Yeah. Let's see what happens. I remember that day, there was a clip of them watching. They were in a room watching the footage, and they were giddy. They were giddy about it. So to me, I'm like, okay, perfect. Now you subpoenaed the person that actually was there videoing this thing. Like, yeah, I want to see that. Forget the pictures. I want to see actual footage of him talking, interacting, how excited he was, because in his mind he was going to be president again. That's a dictatorship. That's not a democracy. You don't take what's not yours. You're not elected. So why in the world, in your stupid little brain, would you think that all these citizens that have fallen on their sword for you are just disposable? And that's exactly what he did. He just ignored them. He was like, I'll pay for your... Yeah, remember when he was doing the rallies before he was elected? He was like, yeah, punch him in the guy. I have lawyers. I'll take care of it. And these people were actually punching black people that were either working there or walking out of there, whatever it was. They were actually punching people.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, some are protesting, some are just there, but it's like it's a classic example of just profiling. Like, you're just there punching anybody who has a darker skin tone than you, but like, come on. Again,
he has a darker skin tone. It ain't pink.
Right. If they're there supporting, or if they're there working or whatever, why are you targeting them? But it is time to go to break. We will be right back.
Beauty's in the eye. We complicate things when
All right, we are back, and we were told during the break that we have a caller. Is the caller there?
Yes, well, I am here.
Hi, Mr. Caller. Who are you?
This is Mr. My name is Bernard.
Bernard. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
my
I thought it
God.
was Jack. I thought that's what I heard during the break, but my bad. So go ahead, Bernard.
I know I'm off topic, and I know y'all went over it before, but I need to know a consent decree is.
So sure. So I did see that message, and I went ahead and looked it up. And just the first paragraph of this website, consentdegree.baltimorecity.gov, it says, on April 7th, 2017, the City of Baltimore and the Department of Justice entered into a consent decree, which is a court enforceable agreement to resolve DOJ's finding that it believed the Baltimore City Police Department had engaged in a pattern and practice of conduct that violates the First, Fourth, and 14th Amendments to the United States Constitution and certain provisions of federal statutory law.
So basically, if the DOJ, Department of Justice, investigates Baltimore City and decides that Baltimore City has done something wrong, Baltimore City can't fight them. They have to come to some kind of an agreement and problem-solving skills worked out.
Oh, okay. I get it now. I
So
get
they have
it.
to be
Okay.
held accountable is basically what it is. And it doesn't usually work because we still have corrupt-ass people in city council, mayor's office, everywhere.
Oh, okay. Well, I got it.
All
And I
right.
think y'all.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling,
All right,
Bernard.
All right, Tito.
Bye.
Our
What a
little
lovely
family
caller.
is funny. We have a great family dynamic.
Yes.
Six.
But yes, so thank you. But I can't see
It's
this.
something black.
Oh,
I don't know if you
idea.
got. Yeah, you go.
Oh, something peeled off of somewhere and got on my face. Thank you.
Probably. The,
But oh, true. Yeah. Yo. But yes. So getting back to orangutan.
Oh, hold up! I was told not to do that, but okay, I'm gonna let you do it.
Well, I wonder if he was talking more about the other name you kept saying.
Yeah.
Because that's a little bit more local.
Yeah.
Everybody makes fun of Trump, and we're not the first ones to call him orangutan. So,
And we won't be the last.
No, we won't. But yeah. So I mean, there's just a number of things regarding this committee that that I mean, I really can't wait to see what the end result's going to be. I
actually want to hear Navarro's. What's the other guy with Nixon's face on his back? The one that looked like Mr. Monopoly Man.
You mean he actually has a tattoo of Nixon?
Yeah.
Oh, I have no idea who that is.
You know who it is. He wears those circular glasses in the top.
Oh my gosh,
Rogers.
Stone.
Yeah, Roger Stone. He
Yeah.
actually has
I gotta see
Nixon's
some glasses.
Yeah, he has Nixon's face tattooed in the middle of his back. But that's neither here nor there.
And if anybody would like to know, they're live right now on day 4. So go ahead and watch it.
I totally encourage people to take like a few minutes just to look it up and see what they're doing. It's unfortunate that we have elected officials in our cities and states, and they've been involved in a lot of things that are detrimental to their constituents. But what's happening is a lot of stuff they did behind closed doors. So since we weren't privy to it, they thought they were going to get away with it. Now through phone tracking and we got all their transcripts and everything, all of this is coming out. What state does Jim Jordan hail
Let me
from?
see. I'll tell you in a second.
Wherever state that is. Lindsey Graham has disappeared, which is fine with me. I have no problems. That's South Carolina. That's where my sister is, and I love my sister to death. She wasn't in his
Ohio,
state.
4th
Okay.
district, congressional district.
Jim Jordan, the district he's been, not only has he been a shitty ass representative of that district, but he actually did violate the trust of the kids that he was there to teach.
He never took the bar exam. He never passed.
Yeah,
Just throwing that fun fact out
in
there.
a bar, but he's never passed the bar. And I think people need to stop and look at the elected official. I'm not going to give you my vote. That's sacred to me. I'm going to sit there and investigate you myself to find out what kind of a person you are. Have there ever been any, not convictions, but if accusations of any kind against you, whether they're resolved or unresolved or they just disappeared? I need to know, because my kids, my sister, my aunts, my nephew, all of that, how does that affect that person? And I know what they do is not going to just affect the one person. It's one in a million if, that my family gets affected by it. But my whole thing is that if I'm worried about mine, you should be worried about yours. In the long run, how does this affect us? January 6th had a big impact. We're in 2022, and we're still dealing with the aftermath of January 6th.
Yeah, we are, because I mean, it should change a number of things, but we'll see if that happens. But yeah, so I mean, I wanted to, for those who might have been living under a rock for the past year or so,
I wish I was.
to talk a little bit about kind of what happened, the insurrection. But one article I found from the Washington Post I thought was interesting is, it says that Southern secessionists in 1860 had similar arguments to those of the pro-Trump riots who stormed the Capitol. So I thought that was interesting because, of course, 1860, we're talking about, when was the Civil War? Was it post-Civil War?
Yeah.
But at any rate, just to go a little bit off of this article, it says the story of Southern secession provides illuminating evidence that the January 6th insurrection was indeed precedented, rooted in long-standing efforts to preempt, delegitimize, and suppress Black voting. Aware that roughly 90% of Black voters supported Joe Biden in 2020, former President Donald Trump tried, through his Stop the Steal movement, to invalidate and suppress votes in African American population centers. He maintained an effort that Black people had no right to vote him out of office, as Eugene Robinson succinctly put it. More than 150 years ago, Southern secessionists laid the groundwork for such arguments by maintaining that Blacks had no right to vote Lincoln into office. So, that part, let's not forget about that as well. So yeah, it is important to bring whoever needs to be brought to trial, convict them, whatever it is you're going to do. But also, let's not forget why these people started storming the Capitol.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they never stormed it, why they even went to the Capitol. They wanted to stop everybody from doing their jobs, Pence and all of them, which was to validate Joe Biden as president, blah blah blah.
We'll stop Pence from validating Biden's win.
Yeah, well, that's basically what it said. But yeah, so, but more specifically, African Americans.
Yeah.
But and that's, again, only really because, like this article says, roughly 90% of Black voters were supporting Biden in 2020. So, that, but it's rooted in such a deep history of trying to stop Black votes, because I mean, in the past few years, we've heard people talk and seen so many articles that are surrounding this. A number of states have implemented laws or whatever, policies that will prohibit Black people from voting. And some of it is, simple thing, or stupid things, I should say, like, requiring an ID or this or that. That's not necessary, because if you're a registered voter, you're a registered voter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that means at one point you had an ID and you should be able to register to vote and be able to vote. So, and not only that, making transportation difficult for some people. And that you can say that's for, like, the elderly in general, or for people who have certain handicaps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If they can't drive themselves, and, I will say this for churches, they do try to get out there. There are some volunteers that try to get out there and transport people.
And I think Lyft and Uber
exactly.
were allowing,
they were doing probably free rides, I'm sure, to get people to vote, because that's what democracy is all about. And when you try to stop that or suppress it, how can you call yourself a democratic person?
Yeah.
And I don't mean Democrat as a Democrat versus Republican. People need to understand the difference.
This is a democracy.
Right. So United States, whether you're Republican, whether you're, Tea Party, whatever party you belong to, you're supposed to still fall
alone.
You're supposed to still fall under democracy. And what that basically means is that the people should rule this country.
And that's what democracy looks like.
Yeah.
The freedom to have everybody. Right. And the thing is that the legitimacy legitimacy of an election is when everybody gets a vote and you decide who the citizens want in office, want to represent them.
Right.
Because it's not just Texas wants the representation, so Texas gets to vote.
Right.
That's not how it is.
That's like me saying, Moran, you're darker than me. I don't want you to vote because you're darker than me.
That's fine. That's
huh?
what you think. Like, I'd have been like, yeah, that's what you think.
It's like,
gotcha.
that makes no sense. So
yeah, but that's how they think.
Right. And so, because you're poor. Because you're Asian.
Classism. Racism.
It's like, I don't want you to vote for these reasons. And it's like, well, who are you to dictate that?
But me looking this way, you don't even know how I'm going to vote. But
right.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you're blocking. What is it, Mama used to say? You're blocking your blessing, baby.
Right.
Like, you don't know how this person, just because they have this idea that all black people are Democrats. That's not true.
No, a number of them.
So you're
are
blocking black people from voting, and you're putting these barriers in front of them. You don't know that person might have looked at you like, you know what? I like what this person is saying. Yeah. I'm going to vote for him. But guess what? This person don't want you to vote for him.
Yeah. I mean, again, it just goes back to profiling and stereotyping and assuming, you can't look at someone and assume that they're going to vote a certain way, because that's just not how things work. You have no idea how someone's going to vote. Right. And even if you hear that they're a Democrat, they may not like their Democratic candidate. So they may go Republican. So you can't say, oh, well, I heard you're Democrat, so I don't want you to vote. Like, you don't know if I was going to vote for you or not.
But the thing is that the Republicans were the in age of slavery, they were fighting against it. What in the world happened? The party of Lincoln? Bullshit. No, you're not. You're not the party of Lincoln.
Yeah, don't. Yeah.
Please don't fall for the hype. I'm not beating up on Republicans because I feel like Democrats, they don't step up at all. In this committee, I'm happy to say that I'm actually looking forward to finding out what the next steps are and hoping, like, I'm in my mind, they're going to actually prosecute and give sentences down. Right. But Democrats, go ahead.
I was going to say, can you hold your thought? Because we do have to go to break. So we'll be right back.
You could listen to one of those
president, and he was running for re-election. And the Democrats said, hold up, we got somebody better. A damn near 80-year-old man that for 47
he was
years.
Early 70s. Then.
Yeah, but for 47 years
Oh, you're
sitting in the
talking about Biden,
Senate.
sorry.
Yeah, he sat in the Senate and did nothing to better our lives.
I don't know, but
No, I told you. I look at stuff. I research people. So that's what gets me. Is the Democrats, you see, we had 4 years of Trump. And you said, you know what? Let's find the best candidate that can challenge him. Let's do this. Let's get Vice President Biden, just because he was the vice president to Obama. Obama being the first black president is the reason why we got Trump. So you want to bring Biden, who was the vice president to the first black president.
I mean, he was also voted in.
Yeah, but the thing is that they put him up as they elected him. He was picked by the Democrats. Out of all the people in the Democratic Party that were running for president, they said, you know what? He's the best fit because of his experience. Okay, let's talk about his experience. Let's go back to how he's voted in 47 years. But nobody actually does their research, so we got him.
Yeah, I mean, because at that point it was just like, oh yeah, I remember.
It was a
him
scramble.
from
To me, it
Obama.
looked like it was a scramble to find somebody viable to go against Trump. And I don't see Biden go toe to toe with Trump. I'm not saying Kamala should have been president. Far from it. But you don't have.
She won the bet.
Yeah, so you can't find me anybody in the Democratic side that could have gone toe to toe with him. I'm not calling race or gender. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, we had 72 other people, but clearly nobody thought they were worth a damn. So they eventually fell off, or probably money too. A lot of them couldn't keep funding themselves. And because, as we know, money talks and walks in this country. So the more money you have, but and that's why Bloomberg could jump in at last second, do everything he did, and then jump back out. You know what I'm saying?
Bloomberg is a fool.
Who even was gonna vote for him? Nobody, and that's what happened. So, but yeah, it is crazy because the people that we want to run or want to be, because I do wonder why Biden didn't pick an Abrams or what's the one that you like? Was it Rice? Yeah, Rice or someone like them. He went with Harris, who I guess he felt, whatever, she has some accomplishments, and maybe she does, but when she was in California,
she did,
and not to say that she didn't have some battles to fight. She's fighting against white men who were looking down on her, but at the same time, you wanted to go with the grain, with police, instead of maybe fighting more for the people and blah blah blah. And the people in that area felt that, and that's what happens. And so you already know that probably a number of people from that area weren't going to vote for her, just because of the history there. Yeah, and it's upsetting. And
Stacey Abrams showed who she was. She's still fighting that good fight. Yeah. I don't know if she's going to make governor, but I wish her all the luck in the world.
And because she's doing stuff pretty locally. I mean, she got a number of people in Georgia alone just to vote. More black people than have ever voted. Yeah. So, she affected change, and that's more that can be said for a lot of the candidates that were running.
And
men,
that's
women,
my
black,
whole thing.
white, whatever.
Yeah, and that's my whole thing is like you start locally, start vetting these elected officials in city council and all these local districts. Check them out because eventually they're going to move up and up and up and up and up. Yeah. And then when they get to the highest court or the highest level that they can get to, then we're stuck with these people because based on name recognition, because all you see is this person's name, Jim Jordan, Lindsey Graham, Pelosi. We see these names regularly. So what happens? The re-election, they just automatically get, nobody comes against them. Nobody challenges them during an election. So that's it.
Yeah, I'm looking on, which, again, it's Wikipedia, you take it with a grain of salt, but I just happened to see in the middle of this paragraph, he later regretted his support for the Iraq War. And then the next sentence says Biden supported military installation in Delaware and Amtrak, which he used to commute. Why do we need military at Amtrak? That's as crazy as putting military at schools.
I told you how I felt.
So, I mean,
I said what I said, Biden.
you can put police if you want to at Amtrak because, things can happen there, but military?
Yeah.
No.
DC, the only time we ever had military in DC is inauguration.
Delaware, not DC.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, having Amtrak and having police or whatever, there's police in Union Station. They have the drug smelling dogs.
Right.
They walk up and down Union Station. That's fine. Nobody, I don't know. See a lot of gold shields, but they're not for the Union Station. They're either transitioning, traveling through Union Station. But the people that have ground, they have, authority is the police department, DC Police.
Yeah. And I forgot he ran against Obama, for president. I forgot he ran then. Mm-hmm. But and it says his campaign was damaged by allegedly racially charged guffaws, I guess is how you say it.
Yeah.
He never reached double digits in the polls and dropped out after the Iowa caucus. While Biden and his fellow Senator Barack Obama, who also ran, had originally disliked each other, Obama came to appreciate Biden and picked him to be his running mate. And the rest is history. Yeah, I think a lot of times it's like he even voted to ban homosexuals from serving the military and to bar the federal government from recognizing same-sex marriages. He championed arms control concerning the SALT treaties, whatever that is. And he clashed with the Reagan administration over its support for that one I'm not mad at, but apartheid-era South Africa. And he was a leading opponent of mandating desegregation busing. Well, that's one thing he did. But yeah, he there's a lot there that that isn't so great. But I will also give that he and I don't know the true reasons. You never really know with politicians, but he did work. He worked with everybody, whether you were black, whether you were segregationist, whether you were. I guess you can at least say that for him, but at the same time, being against homosexuals, in my opinion, is wrong. Being for the Iraq War was wrong, But in my opinion, being for any war really is wrong. But I wish America would just
mind their business,
right, just learn to chill out and stop trying to throw soldiers into these wars that go on forever. That you have no idea. Oh my God! In '87, when he ran for president, he withdrew because of plagiarism.
I told you, it's just his history's all. Yeah.
And then the following year, he got brain surgery after suffering aneurysms. That's plural. But at any rate, yeah. So, just looping it all back though, because we were talking originally about January 6th. But yeah. So as far as Trump and January 6th, it's gonna continue on for some time, and like Moran said, make sure to watch some of it.
Yeah, because that's gonna be too much. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, watching all day is gonna be hard because I know most people work. So, but it also it's just gonna be draining. Like, who's gonna want to sit there and watch?
You're gonna want to throw something at the TV sometimes. Yeah. But honestly,
that's how some of these hearings are.
Yeah, but understand that viewership, letting them know that we're watching. That's the only reason why I say watch it. Not only to be aware of what's going on, but also letting them know, listen, we're watching.
And this is a part of history, and it's a part of history that it was a part of another history because of what I was just talking about from 1860. It like some of this stuff is not new. Like, people are coming into these different things thinking, oh, this is the first time something like this has happened.
No.
I'm sorry, you a historian? Do you know that for a fact?
You're only 20. I'm
even some people older, especially if these things aren't taught in school. Like, but some of these things are so specific that you're not going to be taught that in general. But yeah, you're going to be taught that way back when white people didn't like black people and they had them as slaves.
That's the gist.
That's the gist of what you're going to learn. But to know more specifically, like how voting rights have been, taken or suppressed for blacks and other minorities, and just
Ruby
different things
Bridge,
like that.
only in her 60s.
Yeah, and that wasn't that long ago that people were yelling slurs and throwing things at her because she was
Those
just
are
trying
your
to go to school.
grandparents that were throwing stuff.
Yeah, remember that. Your great-grandparents and grandparents.
And
that
your
were doing
parents,
all that.
too. Yeah, because the kids were out there in class with her being just reckless.
Yeah, so it's unfortunate. Some of this stuff is not that long ago. And
so you're not so far removed from it. So
right.
It's a learned behavior. Hate is a learned behavior. You're not born hating stuff. And stop it.
I mean, it's definitely taught.
We got to break this cycle.
And then people who are able to break that cycle, because, I mean, you have to get to know people. Like, you can't sit there and, say, you grew up learning that black people were bad or, whatever. Mm-hmm. And you don't even know any black people. Like,
right.
How do you know that? How do you know that they're bad people?
It's a misconception. And the
thing
is,
you can say that about every race.
Yeah, but there are other countries that have never met an American or never been here or anything, but have this mindset that, Americans are...
Because they heard it or they've seen something on TV.
Yeah, they're not John Wayne-esque. You know what I'm saying? We're not Dirty Harry-esque. We're not. It's just stuff that you watched on TV. It's make-believe.
Right.
Just like Edward Scissorhands. We knew he didn't have scissors for hands. But it's just like, come on now, really?
And that's an Amber Heard reference for y'all don't know what she's talking about. But yeah, so, and I mean, it's unfortunate, but and sometimes it goes the same here. A lot of people here haven't been out of the country. Mm-hmm. So you see a French movie. I mean, because I used to hear a lot when I was younger, French people are rude. I don't know. I've never met any French people like that. Like I've never been to France, but so are Americans.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And just things like that. Like, you can't sit there and say that a certain race is a certain way or ethnicity or whatever, culture, religion. But,
And or a friend of mine said, I've never met a mean Ethiopian. Like, right. It's just...
Yeah. But on that note, we have to close down the show. It is 11 o'clock. We thank everybody. And thank you, Bernard, again, for calling in.
We appreciate you.
Thank everybody for listening. Go to tunein.com or Shoutcast to watch. Tell Alexa or Siri to play She's the Boss Radio. You can go to She's the Boss Radio and watch us there in real time. If you want to call in like Bernard did, 443-272-5922, but call at 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock next Tuesday. Also go to Facebook and like She's the Boss Radio so you can get those notifications. On Twitter, it's She's the Boss Radio, WSTBRN on IG, and WSTBR on Twitch and Tumblr. And we're Deplorable Rhetoric on Facebook, Deplorable_Rhetoric on Instagram, and we rant to rave, the number 2 on Twitter. Talk to y'all next Tuesday.
We don't break the laws. We just make up our own. The